It's nothing new that people take their Toyota RAV4s off-road. Since the original conception of this little recreational activity vehicle, these have captivated the hearts of many because of their easy-to-drive dynamics on the road, compact size, and also the ability to bring you out into the backcountry. And of course, you could just buy a 4Runner if you want to be able to drive up Mount Everest, but on a day-to-day basis, I really think that the RAV4 is easier to live with. So this week, Toyota has flown me out to Scottsdale, Arizona to not only look at this Woodland, but also every version of the all-new 6th generation RAV4. But today in particular, we'll be going out in the dirt and having some fun. So let's get these tires dirty before a plane flies over me. Hello my dear friends, and welcome to Scottsdale. This is actually my first time in the state of Arizona, so I'm most certainly taking in all the beautiful sights and nature. Right now we're at Fort McDowell State Park. It's actually pretty cool here. There's a lot of little dirt offshoots that I guess we'll be able to get this thing out and a little bit dirty. Toyota has also provided us with their own off-road course, so we will be seeing that, but I cannot lie, there are already some things that I find interesting here. But yes, welcome to the 6th generation Toyota RAV4. These things are so new, they're not even in dealership showrooms yet. We should be seeing these by the end of this year, 2025, or the beginning of next year, 2026. If you didn't know, I personally wanted to add that my family isn't new to the Toyota RAV4. At home, we currently have a 3rd generation V6 RAV4, one of my favorites. And then I actually used to own a 1st gen RAV4 myself. Now this RAV4 in particular is a 2026 RAV4 Hybrid Woodland in a new color for 26 Urban Rock. Even though we don't quite know how much this car is, I would guess this hybrid in this mid-trim to be $41,000 or $42,000. Also, if you didn't know, Toyota has ditched the normal 2.5-liter non-hybrid RAV4. So you can either get your hybrid as a HEV or a FEV. And of course, both powertrains have been improved to make more power and be more efficient, and we'll see that very shortly. I would imagine if you're looking at a RAV4, you're probably cross-shopping its main competitors too, because these are pretty cross-shoppable cars. There's so much in this segment and everything is pretty good. The main rival of this to me is the new Honda CR-V Hybrid. That one comes in a Trail Sport trim. Probably also the Nissan Rogue Rock Creek Edition, Kia Sorento X-Pro, and then maybe the Hyundai Tucson XRT. All of the vehicles in this segment won't really get you too far into the backcountry, but they at least look like they do. And to give everyone credit, Toyota has the 4Runner, Honda has the Passport, Hyundai has the new Palisade with a digital rear locker. Nissan's supposed to be bringing the Xterra back, so if you want an actual off-roader from these people, they got you too. Toyota has also added some new trim levels and slightly different packaging to the mix as well. Toyota is saying that the base LE will start at about $30,000, but there are quite a few trim levels to choose from, starting at the LE, SE, Woodland, XSE, GR Sport, and the Limited. Toyota is even expanding the plug-in variant to more trim levels as well, because now you could get a plug-in version of the XSE, Limited, Woodland, and the GR Sport. But again, every RAV4 comes as a hybrid now. Toyota has thankfully improved the drivetrain of the new RAV4 as well. Not just the plug-in, but also the normal hybrid too. This now uses the 5th generation of Toyota's hybrid system setup. We first saw this most current rendition in the new Prius, which is an excellent car, and also the new Toyota Camry, which is another excellent car. Under the hood of the new RAV4, like I said, things have thankfully improved in more than just one way. I introduce you to the A25A FXS. This is a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder running on the Atkinson cycle. Of course, because this one is an all-wheel drive hybrid, it's connected to 2 electric motors. There's one up front, then there's one on the rear axle. This all-wheel drive RAV4 hybrid makes 236 horsepower now, up from about 200. And then it's not much of a compromise if you get a front-wheel drive one, because then you get 226 horsepower. Toyota rates these engines at 172 pound-feet of torque though. I don't know. Fuel economy figures haven't been addressed yet, but Toyota is saying again this is to be an improvement. They're estimating about 44 mpg combined. That's right in line with something like a CR-V hybrid. And again, if you are interested in that RAV4 plug-in, the Woodland is available in that FEV powertrain as well. Total system output has gone from 302 horsepower to now 324. And also, range has gone up from 44 miles to 52 miles of full electric charge. As you can see, this new RAV4 doesn't doesn't look entirely different from the outgoing model. I will admit that. Just like the new Camry, it retains the same RAV4 shape that we've known since 2018. This thing sits at 181 inches long, making it just about an inch longer than the outgoing model, depending on which one you get, because the bumpers are different. This is about a foot shorter than the current Toyota Highlander, not the Grand Highlander. It's also 3 inches shorter than the first generation Toyota Highlander, but 5 inches longer than the current Toyota Corolla Cross. As you can see, this Woodland trim is riding on these all-terrain tires with 18-inch alloy wheels, but this is all we get in terms of the off-road package. Toyota says it is a little bit taller, but that's because the tires are slightly larger. I certainly appreciate the all-terrain tires over the street setup on a Limited or anything else, so we'll see how it grips today. One big difference between this and its main rival, the Honda CR-V Hybrid, to me at least, is that this rear axle is powered by an electric motor, while the CR-V Hybrid still uses a mechanical all-wheel drive system. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to take the CR-V Hybrid out, but hopefully when we get back, we will. When it comes to this recreational activity vehicle, thankfully practicality hasn't changed. Again, it's so soon, we don't know the proper trunk figures for this car, but Toyota said that they're pretty similar to the outgoing model. Maybe just a little bit bigger. You can see this one has a power tailgate. If I had the key on me, certain versions of it are hands-free. Toyota mentioned that they made the kick sensor a little bit wider, so you don't have to just kick right underneath the middle of the bumper. This certainly still has a whole lot of space. In the outgoing model, there's just under 40 cubic feet behind the second row seat, and then if you fold the second row seat down, then you get about 67 or 68 cubic feet of volume. So it certainly is still cavernous, and thankfully it's not worse than the previous model. I have to commend Toyota for also making the lift-over height not too bad. This is better than some other vehicles I've been around. I would definitely say this car is camping approved because there's things like a power outlet back here. And in terms of towing, you can see this one has what looks like a 1-inch receiver, maybe no bigger than 1.5 inches. But Toyota says if you have a front-wheel drive RAV4 hybrid, you can tow 1,750 pounds. But if you have an all-wheel drive like this one, 3,500 pounds. As we hop in the back seat, thankfully step-in height is pretty good. This thing isn't that tall off the ground. We only have about 8 inches of ground clearance. Things feel pretty solid in here. This is a very early production RAV4, but I really haven't noticed any weird things about this one. It feels a little bit nicer back here than the outgoing model. Not too much nicer, but more soft touch materials. And because this one is the Woodland, it has this grayish green material with the orange stitching. Looks kind of cool, but most importantly, I'm 5'9", as you can see, and the driver's seat is in my position. I can fit my feet under the seat, and I have about 1 inch or 2 of legroom. These second row seats do not slide forwards or backwards, but I actually am pretty comfortable back here. These seats recline as well. Headroom is really good because this car is shaped like a box in the middle. And then I even have some nice things like an armrest here, which is pretty comfortable, 2 cup holders, and then in the center, behind the center console, thankfully there's 2 air vents back here and 2 USB Type-C ports. It's pretty decent. Even though this isn't a limited trim, I still feel well appointed as a rear passenger.
Hey, what's a nice family like the Vengroves doing in a place like this?
We're going on vacation.
The 4-wheel drive Toyota Tercel wagon is on the move again. Destination? Fun. Because this Tercel switches from front wheel to 4-wheel drive on command.
There it is! Wow.
And gives the best gas mileage of any 4-wheel drive car. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's also spacious, smooth, tough.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Alright, okay. So, like I said, this place isn't too difficult. It's not going to put the car in harm's way because I'm not going to, because this is Toyota's car, and I want to be able to drive back to lunch. I just wanted to explore a little bit before I go to the actual off-road course, because I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to get everything I want, but here's just more chill, so that's chill. I don't know, if you've never been to Arizona like me, you can see how vast it is. It's nothing like Maryland. So this is actually the first time that I've taken a RAV4 hybrid off-road. I have to say I like the electric torque because it doesn't really have to make the engine groan. I have this 360 camera, thankfully, because this doesn't have the best approach angle. I'm going down? Well, now I'm going up. I should go down now, I hope. Ooh, wow. So the thing is crossed up a bit. I'm just in EV mode. And it does work, that's funny. It just keeps going. Now I wanted to just do trail mode, see how that does. So I'm gonna go into trail mode now. I find it kind of funny if I'm in a new 4Runner and I put it in 4 low, it gives me this whole camera setup. So now I get that with the RAV4, but we can see how it adapts the traction control system. Wow. Wow, it's more aggressive. Wow, okay. That's noticeable. It's nice. We get to do a little bit of the first baptism here. A little gooey. Oh yeah, it is a little bit gooey. That's funny. It is now time to drive the new RAV4 on the road because, of course, you know, when you're getting to the trail, you have to drive on pavement to get to the asphalt, so it is pretty important to do that. Welcome to the interior of the 6th generation Toyota RAV4. It definitely feels completely different compared to the old model. This again follows Toyota's more modern interiors, just like in the Camry and the Prius. But because it is kind of warm today, we can get this thing going. This is the key fob for this RAV4 hybrid. This is the typical modern Toyota key fob, but because of this, we have the smart key access system, which is standard. All you have to do is keep the key fob anywhere on your person, and then put your foot on the brake and press the power button to go. So yes, once again, welcome to the interior of the new RAV4 Woodland in this particular case. It definitely feels like an improvement compared to last year's model. There's my friend. First of all, we can give the interior a quick glance before I get too distracted. You can see we have this new 3-spoke steering wheel. I believe this is still in Toyota's Softex material, but it has black stitching on the top. And because this is the Woodland, this has orange accents on the steering wheel, the seats, the center console, just about everywhere. The steering wheel feels pretty nice, but it is definitely a new look. The buttons on the left side control audio and Bluetooth controls, as well as configure the gauges. The buttons on the right control all the cruise control functions. If you look at the gauges, it's a brand new 10.5-inch display, fully digital. It does look nice. It is interesting not seeing a hood over the gauges like in other cars, but it's not really been too bad in terms of glare. I can still read it. And Toyota really has seemed to be listening to me because they've not only made the gauges very configurable, there's 4 different design layouts that you could choose, but there's even more information in the gauges as well. You can see right in front of the gauges, this does have the Toyota eye monitor, so you know, if you're on your phone or if you're not paying attention, the car will tell you to sit up and pay attention. On the back side of the steering wheel, you can see on the left side we have automatic headlights, and on the right side, I'm surprised in this Woodland trim we have rain sensing wipers, but I'm already pretty impressed. We've been driving these things on and off-road all day. I baby the cars, but I know other people that are here don't do that, and these things haven't been rattling, they haven't been making any noises whatsoever. You can see in the center of the car we have this 10.5-inch display. This is the smaller of the two for the new RAV4. Higher trims will get a 12.9-inch display. However, you can see where Toyota has also listened to me, because now they've updated the connected services system. It's even better. Like I've complained in the past, there wasn't really a dedicated home screen. Now there is. This is great. They've really made the infotainment system like a tablet in here. It's even easier to use, a little bit less complicated. Again, it supports wired and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So connectivity is certainly a strong point on this car, and the Toyota engineers wanted us to know that as well. I did want to get going because I only have less than a half hour to eat lunch, but I wanted to make sure I got all my Woodland time in. Because this one uses Toyota's 5th generation hybrid system from the Prius, I've really been impressed with these modern Toyota hybrids. It's very smooth, it's torquey. It's not like an immediate punch of torque. This car is heavier than the Camry and the Prius, so you won't be thrown in your seat, but it is still pretty responsive. 236 horsepower in this all-wheel drive model. I've been satisfied. We can do a, I guess, from a stop, see how the power is. I can also put myself in sport mode. That's 60. It's not so bad. It feels comparable to something like a CR-V hybrid. I do notice more vibration, or just more, I would say vibration, and you know, in this compared to the CR-V. But it is punchy. You know, it is the CVT, but it works well, it's smooth. This doesn't feel rubber bandy, so I don't have, like, after I let off the throttle, I don't feel like it's still like winding down. It's actually still composed. It handles pretty well too. I am in sport mode, so it has adapted the steering and the throttle response, of course, but it does handle well. So even if this Woodland trim with these all-terrain tires handles pretty well, I can only imagine how the GR is. The Woodland one is the one that I'm most excited about. And as you can see, at higher speeds, it's not too bad. Not too much wind noise, really, even with this big roof rack, which is actually kind of impressive. Also, I don't get too much tire noise. I still hear things. It's not like I'm in a Lexus, but I don't have to be shouting, I would say. The brakes feel pretty good. Not really like a, you know, mushy or sticky feeling. You can see how the power is after this Rogue goes. Once more. You know, it's not really a dreadful sound either, so even in this car, the powertrain isn't too bad. I will say the Honda does feel a little bit more refined, but this is very good. At higher speeds, it's comfortable. I don't feel like it wanders along the road, and it doesn't feel like I'm driving something that's like a joke, essentially. It's not really floaty or too soft either, so it's kind of just the right amount of firm and soft, I would say. I've been pretty pleased with the rest of the interior of this car too. I like how things are laid out. As you can see, this has dual zone climate control, but now some of the controls are embedded in the screen. However, I think it's good the way Toyota did it, because these climate things never leave, if that makes sense. I have the physical buttons for the temperature control, but all the other controls are in the screen. Again, very easy. The steering is pretty light and effortless. Let's do normal acceleration. Normal acceleration, this engine is quiet. It's not quiet, but it's smooth. Not once have I driven this and I've been like, it's kind of rough, you know? You can see underneath the two air vents, Toyota has put a place for you to put your phone. In the limited trim, and only the limited trim, you can have 2 wireless chargers, but in this car we just have 1. I don't use any. I like that all the controls for things like the drive modes are very easy to reach. Nothing is too far away. The switchgear for the camera system and the downhill assist, easy to find. We have plenty of USB-C power outlets in front right here and also in this center console. So there's just a lot of connectivity in here. The cup holders are thankfully pretty big, and they also say that this doubles up as a storage compartment because you can remove this. Let's go! I'm hungry! I know I've just been doing like a turn, but it rides well. Even on the rougher roads, it rides well. Off-road, for being a unibody on independent suspension, it's good. The seats are quite comfortable, thankfully. The driver's seat in this Woodland is full power, but the passenger seat isn't. In other trim levels, you will get a power passenger seat, but you have to pay a little bit more for it. There's a Gen RAV4 coming up behind me, which looks pretty mean in all black. But thankfully the seats are pretty supportive. RAV4 has never been an offensive car, so it's just an improvement. Everything that I've noticed has just been an improvement. I like the center console. It's pretty deep. There's more USB ports in here and another normal car charger. I also like that the armrest in this car lets you, well, first it's not too soft, not too comfortable, but it doubles up. I know I'm driving, but it doubles up as this thing. So you can have dirty things on one side and luxury on the other side. And it's very easy because it's Toyota. I mean, you're not supposed to be doing stupid things while you're driving, but because it's Toyota, you can. I really hope I got my point across that this is just better than the last one. I like this a little bit more. Thank you, sir. I just have to unpack. Thank you. I'm just happy I'm here for lunch. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our time with the new RAV4 Woodland. This is the one I was the most excited about because I like going off-road. And of course, it's not been put through anything difficult today, but just being able to get out where a Camry won't be able to go is a little bit satisfying. I'm happy to see the RAV4 is still as practical as ever and efficient as ever, and this happens to be the most powerful RAV4. However, I still like the V6. Again, I really do appreciate you all watching this video. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be places like this. And if it wasn't for Toyota too, but you are most important. Let me know in the comments what you drive. It doesn't have to be a Toyota RAV4 because, as you know, I drive Volvos and a Toyota 4Runner. I don't want to ramble too much though. I have to get this thing dirty before the actual end of this video, and before I get audibly interrupted by another dump truck or a big or small airplane, I'm going to get in this car and get going. So I appreciate you watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Probably by the time this video comes out, I'll be at 40,000 subscribers. But before I start embarrassing myself, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, peeps.